Hi everybody, my name is Kelly Maddox and I'm here on behalf of BYGB Consulting, Before You Go Broke. I've been with BYGB for about 6 years now as their training and development manager. I joined them after getting my bachelor's degree in corporate communications from the University of Houston downtown. I put a strong focus on training and restaurant training and development management, as well as communication within the workplace. Based on the needs assessment that we performed, we pinpointed a couple areas in which y'all could use improvement here at the Dogwood Houston. So based on the needs assessment, we understand that y'all are having an influx in intoxicated customers and kind of not really an understanding of how to properly and effectively deal with them, as far as cutting them off, communicating with them, or getting them to leave without starting any kind of commotion or tense or damaging the relationship with the customer. So basically what I'm going to come and do today is train y'all on how to properly and effectively deal with intoxicated customers. So the three objectives that we're going to focus on today are how to identify an intoxicated customer with 5 signs, effective tips for maintaining a balance of customer service as well as responsible service, as well as how to properly communicate with inebriated customers. So intoxicated customers can cause a lot of problem at your establishment. They can disrupt the atmosphere, disturb other customers, as well as ultimately could leave, get into a car accident, get sick, and which could result in you losing your liquor license. So based on the needs analysis that I performed, I understand that everybody in this room has completed a TABC certification course within the past 2 years. So I believe that all of y'all understand what the legal drinking limit is. Can anybody inform me what the legal drinking limit is in Texas? Yes, 0.08. That's correct. So in order to distinguish a drunk person from a not drunk person, there are 5 different signs that you can pinpoint and point out, which can determine and let you know whether a customer is intoxicated or not. So the key to determining if somebody is drunk or not is observation. And this starts from the moment that the customer walks in the door. So while a customer may not have been served by you personally or anybody else in the bar, they could have been next door drinking and simply overserved there when they walked in here. So there's a lot of things to focus on when determining the intoxication level of a customer. The first sign is physical appearance. For example, a 100-pound woman who has consumed 3 shots of whiskey is more likely to appear intoxicated than a 200-pound man who's consumed the same amount of whiskey. As you learned in your TABC course, the body type, body mass index plays a huge role in how quickly a person becomes inebriated. So it's important to take that in mind when you're determining if somebody is drunk or not. The second is a lowering of inhibitions. For example, this can be a customer being more talkative, being louder. Maybe, for example, you have a customer sitting at the bar and he's beginning to yell obscenities at the TV and get loud and just kind of disrupt others around him with his language and voice. This would definitely be a sign of intoxication. The third would be poor judgment. For example, if you're a server and you're walking around and a customer is being really grabby with you, this would be an example of poor judgment, which is a big sign in determining if somebody is intoxicated or not. The fourth is physical impairment. This can include things such as slurred speech, flushed face, maybe lowering droopy eyes. All of these things are important to look for when trying to decide if a customer needs to be cut off or is intoxicated or not. And the fifth one is loss of motor control. This includes everything from falling, loss of depth perception, inability to determine words, slow speech, things like that. If you're having a conversation with a customer and you recognize that they're unable to come up with words that would otherwise be easy to do so, or they get up and they fall, it's very clear that this customer is intoxicated and at this point needs to be cut off from alcohol. So now that you understand how to detect a drunk person in the establishment, we're going to go ahead and focus on effective tips for maintaining a good balance of customer service and responsible service. So tips for this would be to slow down service. Now, this does not mean that you need to completely just stop serving this customer or provide bad customer service, but simply that maybe just occupy yourself with other things to let the customer know. Maybe this can, slow down time in between drinks, so they know that you're busy. You're not just avoiding them. The second would be to suggest non-alcoholic drinks. Providing a water, maybe a cup of coffee, is a subtle way of letting a customer know that maybe they need to pump the brakes and slow down their drinking. The third would be to suggest food. This gives it a time for a customer to slow down their drinking, as well as consume some food which might sober them up a little bit. And the last, if none of these are working, is to provide the tab for the customer and suggest a cab ride home. In doing so, you're letting the customer know that they will not be served anymore at this establishment, but thanking them for coming and having a good time, and then providing them with a safe way home by offering them a cab. So now that you know tips on how to provide customer service while maintaining responsible service, we're going to kind of focus on how to communicate effectively with an inebriated customer. As you know, drunk customers are kind of hard to reason with and talk with. Their judgment skills are out the window, and so you kind of have to approach them on a different angle. So the first is approach. You want to approach the drunk customer in a friendly manner. You don't want to be authoritative or abrasive with them. You want to let them know things like, hey, really good game. I know you want another shot, but maybe we need to hold off a little bit. That's a good way of letting them know that they're not going to be served, that they're getting overserved, but you're staying friendly with them and you're not damaging the relationship, so they'll want to return to the establishment for future games. 2 is suggestions. Drunk people don't like being told what to do. Like we discussed in maintaining responsible customer service, it's always good to just suggest things so that the customer feels like they're making the decision themselves. So for example, if a customer comes up and orders a shot of Fireball after a touchdown, a good way to advert them elsewhere would be, hey, Alabama's probably going to get a lot more touchdowns. Why don't we just take one at the end when they win the game? And that kind of puts a different alternative situation in the customer's head and makes them think that they came up with it. The third is to involve sober friends. Involving a third-party mediator can help keep the situation at bay and keep the customer calm while letting them know, like, we need to pump the brakes. You're not going to be getting served anymore. And then the first is confidence. Anytime you're cutting a customer off, it's very important to remain firm and stand your ground in your decision so that they understand that there's no leeway around them not getting served anymore. So now that you understand how to effectively distinguish the signs of an intoxicated person, how to maintain good customer service as well as responsible customer service, and how to effectively communicate with an intoxicated customer, you can take these tips and strategies into the workplace and effectively provide a fun and entertaining environment for your clients while making sure that all of your customers stay safe. By doing so, you are not only saving your liquor license, but you could also be saving a life, which is more important. Thank you so much for having me out today, and I really hope that y'all are able to take some of this information and apply it to the workplace. We will be following this training session with a short assessment to test your knowledge and understanding of dealing with drunk customers at the workplace. Thank you. Have a great day.